is.
Now needs is a system of rules and regulations, of guardrails, so that everyone is operating.
Straight up, gonna have to ask for a translation on that one, my friend. Don't know what that says in Russian. Google, from Russian. You're a Nazi. Banned. Anyways.
Treat for us, members of Congress. There's many of them around the table, and they're happy to be working on the issue with you and for you. I would say, people often say that Speaker of the House is the most stressful job in the world, but then I think of SEC football coaches because they got to win every Saturday night, and my friends who are in those positions I have a lot of sympathy for. I want to commend President Trump for his extraordinary leadership, and he leads on this important and complex issue as he does all others. He sees a problem, he wants us to solve it, and he assembles the right people to get that done, and I think he really is the only figure on the planet who could do that. So I thank you for that, Mr. President, getting everybody together. One more issue that we'll tackle. I'm a double alum from LSU, undergrad and law school, so I bleed purple and gold, and we talk a lot about college athletics down where I'm from. It's a big thing, but the whole country
has such an accent
about it because it's part of Americana, as Marco was saying. It's part of who we are as a country.
I need to see the beginning of this.
Thank you very much, everybody. Please. This is a very important meeting. We had a lot of important meetings today, but this is a big one because this is really the future of, I think, beyond college sports. This is the future of colleges because we're looking at numbers that are coming in and the amount of money being spent and lost by otherwise very successful schools is astounding just in a short period of time. It's only going to get worse. So we have to save college sports and save, I believe, colleges. We have to save our Olympic team because so many sports that are in the Olympics will no longer be represented by people that went through college and became competitive, became great at the sport. We won't be anywhere near what we were.
Whoa. Is it in fucking reprise to the fucking women's Olympic team?
I think it's just a very, very important meeting. We have the most important people in college sports and really beyond. And what I'd like to do is I'll say a few words. I'm going to ask Marco and a few to also say a few words. And I'd like to take your suggestions. And we have the speaker. We have John Thune is here or represented. We have some of the big politicians, senators, Congress people that can make it get approved. Yeah, because we have to go through, I'd do an executive order. I'd love to do that. I'll probably do it anyway. We'll do an executive order. We'll see how it works because it would be I have a really nice, simple idea. But we'll go through this process. And
I don't know if it's anti-trans stuff as much as I think it is like reprisal on women's sports.
And
anti-Trump
thank you all for being here. As
people
we stand
in
up
the
for
Olympics.
one of America's greatest and most beloved institutions. It's called college athletics, which is true, means so much. I want to thank Secretaries Marco Rubio, Scott Bessent, Doug Burgum, Howard Lutnick, Linda McMahon for being here, and also Speaker of the House Mike Johnson doing a great job, Governor Ron DeSantis, Senators Ted Cruz, Eric Schmidt, Leader Steve Scalise, Representatives Lisa McClain, Jim Jordan, Brett Guthrie.
Because like college sports are facing a bunch of issues, like money wise as well. Cleveland problem college stakeholders, television executives, former national title winning football coaches, pro golfers such as Tiger Woods. Many of the parties warring with one another over industry solutions find themselves in the same room. Ideas on solution to the primary issue, how to pay college athletes, have been evenly divided with those in the industry itself, ranging from athlete employment to non-employment collective bargaining, from federal antitrust protection amending Sports Broadcasting Act to conferences can pool their media rights. Pooling of media rights has caused deep risk both among college stakeholders themselves and between conference leaders External forces such as Campbell and Texas Tech billionaire businessman whose Saving College Sports campaign urges lawmakers to amend the SBA. The SCS campaign argues television rights for 10 FBS conferences. Now they each negotiate their own deals as a way to increase revenues to help financially stabilize college sports and level the playing field, potentially closing the gap between the richest leagues and everybody else.
Some great coaches, they gave him some great ideas. These colleges, they're all in different states, and all the laws are different. So you got laws that are totally different. Some
We trying to
one way, some an
nationalize?
entirely different way, while allowing the full spectrum of college athletic programs to thrive. It should thrive. If Congress does not take action fast, it could destroy college sports and destroy the colleges that play these sports. They'll be destroyed. They'll be going bankrupt. Everyone, so many of them. No other nation in
College sports cost a lot of money, by the way. But if we just nationalized the colleges, we'd have the money to fund them.
and the leaders of tomorrow all at once. I thought the system of scholarships was great. What do I know? But I thought it was great. And just one of those things. I was with Nick Saban the other day, and, you know, his timing is exquisite. He played and he won and won and won. And when he saw this thing, he said, I'm going to get out of, I'm not doing this anymore. He's around here someplace. Where's Nick? Where are you, Nick? Right? Now, he doesn't admit this. I said, how come you left just, you didn't want to go through one season? Because there's no better mind at this than that man. And he looked and he said, what a shame, what a shame. And he's going to speak about it. And I think you have some very constructive ideas, Nick. I think so. No other nation in the world has built a system like this. It's so good, and we've thrown it right out the window. And I'd like to see you go back to something maybe resembling that, and maybe pay for each player. Not such crazy pay, but just pay for each player. With every player, maybe the quarterback and the third string lineman making the same. But you're going to tell us about it, and we're going to try and get it passed. Our goal is not to go back to the days where student athletes were never allowed to receive any compensation, although not the worst idea, but I think a lot of people would overrule me on that. But we must pass reforms that protect the cherished American tradition of college
God damn,
athletics
dude.
for future generations.
He does
So
not care about
I look
this.
forward-
He does not give a fuck about this.
few words, and then we'll get to some ideas. And I don't know, maybe by the end of a long session, if we need it, I'm here as long as you need me. They came to me, they said, you're the only one that can do it. I said, oh, thank you very much. I said, really, because I'm president, okay, to be honest. But we have certain abilities, so we'll see if we can get it done. So I'll ask in this order.
I wish I could-
Marco, you'll say a few words, and then Speaker Johnson, Randy Levine, Nick Saban, Charlie Baker, the governor, Ron DeSantis.
Thousands and thousands of young Americans who are going to graduate this year with not just degrees, but advanced degrees, and athletics made that possible. And the athletic
That's
support,
true.
And the academic support that they're receiving from these schools is extraordinary. So there are kids that literally would not have gone to college or may not have considered it, and certainly not the advanced degrees, without the help that this provides. Also, the development of the individual that student athletics provides. I mean, look, if you can show up at 6 a.m. in the morning every day for a lift, you're learning one of the most important lessons in life. 95% of life is showing up where you're supposed to be on time. These are extraordinary lessons that people are gaining. Two more things that people don't think about: unity. Few things in America unify us anymore, and one of the things that does is college athletics. In particular, I can just, the experience of a Saturday, and I was about to say a Saturday in the South, but I don't want to discriminate against the other conferences. I'm sure it's true there too, where communities get together, people don't agree on anything else except that they want that home team on the field to win, and it's one of the few unifying experiences we have as a country, and it's so critical.
That's
And the
actually
last thing,
true.
Mr. President,
American
this is the feeder
sports is
program
pretty
for our Olympic
unifying.
teams. Without it, there is no feeder program. Other countries
And
are
that's
structured
why-
differently, but the way we have it in our country, so you're
That's why they were so upset with Bad Bunny, because American sports is unifying and the left has won over it.
under the same rules, and it's difficult to do because it's moving very fast, but you've got the right people in the room here, Mr. President, and the right leadership, so thank you.
And it is because most of the people in like college sports and national sports are not white men.
And athletes and their family who have experienced the system are going through it now.
I don't care.
Charge could be a criminal charge, actually, because his son is a very good player for a very good college and makes money with NIL. So there's a serious conflict of interest. But we'll take it. We waive his conflict.
This group together, I think they're really, just for discussion, we'll hear from everybody. I think there are really two things to add on to what the speaker said that have to be done. One, there has to be an antitrust exemption because Everyone in the room has to be able to talk to each other, all the conferences, the schools, the presidents, everybody, without getting sued. That includes the kids. They have to be involved in these negotiations, the student athletes. And there has to be an entity that's set up by the people who are going to administer this, run this, that are empowered by the legislation to handle all the issues the president spoke about. And we're all here to support that, to help that. And to make sure that it's just not business as usual. Just an idea I have is maybe that antitrust exemption lasts for 2 years to make sure that these rules and everything are really being enforced. And if they're not, we go back to square one. It'll give the Congress oversight, give the president oversight, but it's time to move. And Mr. President, I couldn't agree with you more. Thanks to your leadership, we got to move this really, really fast.
Wow, they
ESPN and Fox
love
here,
dick sucking.
probably the biggest
love-
players in this entire thing.
love
And the
dick
fact that they're
sucking.
here and their voices heard is great. So, Mr. President, only you could pull this off, and we're grateful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Randy. And Nick Saban, please.
Thank you, Mr. President, for the chance and the opportunity to be here to speak with you today, but I just want everybody to know that I'm just a football coach. I spent my life when we had the ball trying to get a first down, when they had the ball trying to get off the field on third down. So this is an unlikely position for me to be in to speak to such a distinguished group of people. Thank you. But I come here today with a question. What are the guiding principles for the future of college athletics? All athletics. I'm talking about football, basketball, Olympic sports, revenue, non-revenue, it doesn't matter. You know, my goal as a coach for my players, for our players, was to help them be more successful in life, that we would create an atmosphere and environment that would help them through personal development, academic support, 668 degrees in 17 years at Alabama, and help them develop a career as a football player. That was our goal, so that they were creating value in life and we were preparing them for their future past athletics. So what happened? You know, in this current system that we have, that became impossible to do because people, instead of making decisions about creating value for their future, they were making decisions about how much money could they make at whichever school they could go to or transfer to. So I think we have a challenge here today about the ramifications of this current system on how it helps players be successful in their future and how we can impact and create a system that will help and preserve the opportunity for student athletes to be able to have success in their future beyond athletics. So we need to develop an effective system of revenue sharing, authentic name, image, and likeness, authentic being you have marketing value, which now we have collectives, which just create opportunities, which just become pay for play. Eligibility issues where we have guys playing 6, 7, and 8 years. So you have 25 and 26-year-old people playing against 18 and 19-year-olds, which is not healthy. Transfer rules, we have over 4,000 people in the portal. Fans don't like it, support groups don't like it. It's not really healthy for players in graduation to transfer several times in your career. You really put yourself in a pickle in terms of your ability to graduate. So I think we need to come up with a system, and we obviously have to do it with the president's leadership and also with Congress probably, whether it's antitrust legislation or whatever it is, to allow student athletes in all sports, including women's and Olympic sports, to enhance their quality of life while going to college, but still provide opportunity to advance themselves beyond their athletic career, which is what the philosophy of college
to be profound. But that said, everything everybody has said about the challenges we face at this particular point in time is true. And I want to give a special thanks to Speaker Johnson and to Leader Scalise for the work that they've done, you know, to use a sports analogy, carrying the ball on behalf of the SCORE Act in the House chamber over the course of this year. It deals with the rules issue, it deals with the agents issue, it deals with some of the financial issues, it deals with the equity question, it deals with a wide variety of the issues that are challenging for so many in the college sports space these days.
Is this so we
And
don't have to
the
pay
final thing I'll
athletes?
just say, we have, I talk to a lot of people who are connected in one way or another to college sports, both in this country and around the world, because they have children who attend college here in the U.S. And over and over and over again, the thing I constantly hear is there's nothing like college sports anywhere else in the world. And you are so
That's
lucky
true.
to live in a country where you have a system that works for young people the way this one works for young people here. So I'm deeply grateful for your commitment to this issue. I'm thrilled by the folks you've managed to put around this table. I agree with others who said there's probably nobody else who could do that. And college sports was a great thing for me and my kids and my wife and so many of the, I know a lot of kids who wouldn't have graduated from high school, much less gone to and graduated from college if it wasn't for college sports. It's a truly unique American jewel, and we should do all we possibly can to ensure its success for the next generation and the generations after that. So thank you again for having us all here today.
Thank you, Charlie, and you're doing a great job. Appreciate it. Ron, please.
Well, thank you, Mr. President, for doing this. I mean, you have pedaled to the metal on so many different issues, from national security to border to energy, and you're not taking the pedal off any of that. And you could be forgiven to say college sports is important, but your plate's full, and you've just added it to all the other things that you're doing. And I thank you for that, because this would not get done without your leadership. No one else could get this group together. No one else could work with Congress to be able to do it. And so I appreciate it, because it is important to a lot of people. I mean, we know this is out of whack. We went from a system where you couldn't give a student athlete anything. They could sell your jersey, you get nothing, to now, quarterback throws for 300 yards and they go see the coach. Hey, I need more money. Give me more money from the club. Okay, I'll transfer. Or they get money and I don't want to play in that bowl game. Sorry, I'm just going to sit out. And I think that that's been bad, certainly for college football and college sports. But let's just be clear, and a lot of the speakers have said, and I speak from being in the South, college football is king. It's not even close. University of Florida is the reigning NCAA basketball national champion. The football team, I think they
all
won
this
4
all
games.
this
But guess what?
is just to try and push the SCORE Act, which, if this website will load, we can talk about it. That's what this is. That's all that this is. It's just trying to push the SCORE Act, which prohibits institution colleges or interstate college athletic associations from restricting the ability of a student athlete to enter the NIL agreement. Bill authorizes interstate intercollegiate athletic associations to establish rules to respect athletic ability. Unilaterally limiting athletes' earning potential by unfairly monitoring and restricting third-party NIL payments, once again taking away from the right to freely monetize and control their NIL like every other college student and every other citizen in the U.S. Limiting payments from schools and athletes through salary cap that has not been negotiated by affected college athletes and that would hit limit opportunities for better terms in the future. Once again, placing restrictions on college athletes' right to transfer and play at new schools, right that has been validated by federal court findings. Previous NCAA restrictions violate antitrust laws, and prohibiting college athletes from being considered employees and receiving protection from federal government laws. They want to capitalize on the ability to profit off of college athletes. That's all it is. Protects the interests of those who created problems in the college, leaders of conferences, institutions, and does not take in consideration from athletes themselves. It hurts athletes' ability to find new colleges, find what's best for them. And they have zero representation. As you can see here, there's no athletes at this table. It's just retired athletes or older athletes like Tiger Woods, football coaches, New England Patriots president, NBA commissioner, Fox Sports president, ESPN chairman, several athletic directors, and former college athletes that are no longer athletes that are getting paid lots of money. Legislation in the SCORE Act would provide serial antitrust violators with unprecedented antitrust protection. Following the hard-fought rights college athletes have been able to claw back through courts and state law, rolled back in other rights, some currently seeking to be taken away. All without creating a model that allows Division I conferences and athletes to participate in college athletics. Continued growth in popularity. If the NCAA and others want to protect from antitrust laws, they should agree to engage in the same activity that every other multi-billion-dollar sports business in this country is required to engage in. To obtain that protection, collective bargaining, federal legislation fails to include collective bargaining rights for college athletes, though independent representation should be rejected. SCORE Act is the single largest threat facing college athletics today, and continue wants to show leadership and ability to properly support athletes by evolving the system to where it should be. Without these athletes, there would not be millions of people packing stadiums alongside millions of fans turning in every weekend, and therefore no multi-billion-dollar college sports industry. It is long past time for the decision makers, administration, and leadership to scrap the old business model and bring college athletes to the table instead of asking Congress to legitimize and legalize outdated, unfair, and illegal system. Benefits athletes, the schools, and the fans. It is not only a fallacy to protect the NCAA through codified law, but a failure of leadership would destroy college athletics with the stroke of a pen without athletes having a say. 22% of average revenues to the 70 versus school as the cap for athletic pay. The bill codifies. So yeah, they don't Isn't Tiger Woods the guy who killed his wife? No, that's Bill Cosby. He did divorce his wife though. College athletes on the score. Yeah, pretty much every group of people is saying this is not good. This is basically to booster or bolster profits for organizations and corporations that are profiting off of students in college that are participating in these sports without paying them. They just don't want to pay. They don't want to pay athletes. That's all it is. They just don't want to pay the students. And there'd be an antitrust exemption protecting institutions from liability for collusion. So what they're saying is, hey, I'm the University of Alabama and this student wants this much money, but we're not going to pay it. Nobody else paid the student that much money, so they're forced to stay here. They want to monopolize and destroy college level athletics. And I think this is a way to get back at the fact that conservatives lost the whole culture war when it comes to sports. Establish and enforce rules governing athletic transfers, athletic competition, athletic eligibility. I do think there's some problems with the athletic industry, but obviously none of this is going to solve or fix it.
Thank you, Greg, very much. Sarah Hirschland, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me start by saying thank you, President Trump and your whole administration, for your continued support
it's
of
just
both
dick
Team
sucking.
USA and the Olympic and Paralympic Games. I'm proud to be here today to represent Team USA, and I will say it is no surprise to anyone in this room that we are the greatest sporting nation in the world. Team USA is the most successful team in history, with more Olympic medals than any other nation. One of our competitive advantages is the education-based sports system our country has embraced for more than a century. America's colleges and universities built a world-class athletic system that develops the whole athlete academically and competitively.
And we don't want to pay them.
Is the envy of the world, as we heard Charlie say. It has also been the backbone of Team USA for generations. The results speak for themselves. You heard Greg reference some, and I'll just expand. The athletes from just the Paris Games represented 231 different college institutions and 71 conferences. 90 different schools were represented by our medalists from
I love
just
when
the
college
Paris
students
Games
are used and
alone.
manipulated for corporate
This
profit. Yeah.
success does not happen by accident. It is directly impacted by the broad-based, sustained investment in sport.
And they're projecting this, or they're presenting this as like a protection clause for college athletics, or like college athletes. Obviously, it's not.
Understatement. And while the United States has topped the gold medal table in 8 of the last 10 summer games, I am here to tell you the margin is narrowing. Around the world, nations are investing aggressively in sport, building centralized training systems, expanding funding, and prioritizing athlete development in new ways. That growing global competition comes at a moment when U.S. colleges must increase their investments in football to stay competitive. The economic pressures are unsustainable. We've heard this several times, and we know that Olympic sport budgets inevitably rise to the top as the first to be cut.
And I think protecting college athletics is an important thing. I think we should protect our athletes. I think if we just nationalize the schools and take on these athletes as national employees who can collectively bargain and protect themselves with a good representative in Congress, I don't see an issue with that. But protecting the corporations with antitrust laws is egregiously corrupt.
Partnership with the Collegiate Sports
And also, she's a fucking coward.
Congress to pass legislation that stabilizes the foundation of sport on campus and ensures a healthy and robust ecosystem for student athletes across
Because colleges get upset when a student transfers because that loses them money.
is kind of coming to the Olympics. Let me conclude by
Colleges being for-profit ruins college sports.
but the pursuit of excellence deserves a system that continues to invest in them. Thank you, Mr. President, and to our congressional leaders, to the college administrators, and to the many representatives across the sports industry who are here today. We value your commitment to sport, and we welcome your partnership. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Sarah. And
Yeah, this is just going to be a bunch of dick sucking for the Trump admin, but seriously, the SCORE Act is really, really, really bad for college students in college athletics. It's very bad. College sports players should be able to be paid money for the work that they do. And the fact that, what's his name from Patriots is there is a very obvious sign that he doesn't want to pay his athletes that much money. They never want to pay people for the work they do. They don't care. They don't care to pay you for the work or the labor that you put into the... They just want to condense the profits as much up top as possible. You gotta hate them more. You gotta hate conservatives more. They literally hate all of you. If you think a conservative representative likes you, they hate you and want you to suffer.